right, it is live. It is officially telling me that I'm live. So, hello everyone. Happy Friday. Good afternoon. How are you? Say hello to me below if you are watching this now, or if you're watching this on replay. Just say replay. Give me a heart. I would love to see who is tuning in today. I asked you guys what you wanted to hear, and I heard you guys say a few things around wanting some high energy food ideas to keep your energy up so you're not so tired. Lots of tips around that. I'm excited. And then we're also going to be talking today about how to stop that negative spiral. Let's say if like disaster strikes in your home or in your kitchen, what to do about it so you don't spin out. And I have worked a lot on that myself. So lots to share there too. So I'm looking for it. Hey Bird! Shout out, brother. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I'm excited, you guys. This has been a beautiful, beautiful week for me. Ella's finally back into school, and even though it was only, 4 days because of the long weekend with Family Day, it's been so productive, and I just feel like my soul is lit up and just beaming creativity. So I, this week, got to finish my, the workflow section for my Kitchen Alchemy course, and this has been one that I have, had in the pipeline for a really long time, but it's finally complete. I've launched it to my Kitchen Alchemy members, you Burn being one of them. And the thing that's amazing about my Kitchen Alchemy course, you guys, is this is a take it your own pace, do on your own time kind of thing. There's no pressure, there's no stress, but there is high accountability and there is high impact work with what it is that you do. And so the thing is you can sign up anytime, even though there's been people in there for, a few months now. They've been working through the mindset module, they've been working through the whole foods module, and now they have the workflow module. But what I'm saying with this is that when we're shifting our mindset and we're shifting our habits and we're shifting our relationship to food, this isn't like you're going to take one course and it's going to be done. This is something that is a lifetime commitment. This is a lifestyle change. This is something that we need support and help in for the rest of our days. Even me, I couldn't do my work and the things I do without my divine support, without my support from my friends and from my community and from those that I work with. And so we need each other. And so that's why I created Kitchen Alchemy, as a way for us to be together, to support each other, to help each other as we go through this process of changing up what we eat, of changing up what we think, of changing up what we believe about ourselves, about this world and what we're capable of. And so there's so much shifting that takes place. And this is such a beautiful community where we share the same purpose and we all recognize we have the same problems and we have the same solutions and we're holding each other to it. So if this is something that resonates with you and you really just want to up-level your kitchen game and you really want to dive deeper into your self-care practices to really bring about the joy and the miracles and the creativity and the happiness and the health that is your birthright, then this is something for you. So I have links above that you guys can join. It's a one-time fee that gets you lifetime access to me and to each other, our community, and we meet every other week online as well, face-to-face. And we finished our live training last week, which was mind-blowing. I love you guys. And this upcoming we're going to do a breath work session, which is 90 minutes of deep breathing and healing and clearing out that subconscious. It's like so profound. I can't even begin to express it. But I needed to share this. It's on my heart right now, and it's something that I know that those who are meant to be part of this will feel that call in their heart and in their spirit. And if that's you, I have the links above, and we would love to have you be part of our healing community and our Kitchen Alchemy course. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to even set up a consultation with you to see if we're the right fit, because it's all about right fits. I love you. I'm so glad you're here. So today, let's dive into this juicy content. As I go through answering these questions, if there's any more questions that you have, please ask them below. And if there's anything you want to add, please add it below. I know we all have so much wisdom to share on these matters in our own ways. So let's tackle first the high energy foods. The thing that's amazing about this is I have an entire section in my Kitchen Alchemy course called Whole Foods that we talk about this, because there's a few things that you can do and your actions in the kitchen to contribute to high energy foods, but then it's also about the kinds and the qualities of foods that you choose. So first and foremost, what causes the tiredness a lot of the time is a lack of purpose, so lack of why in your life or in your kitchen, but also it is eating the types of processed or more quicker foods that give us a spike in our insulin levels so that the spike then drops and falls. And it's that crash that happens that makes us tired, that makes us want to reach for those sweets, that make us us want to reach for that coffee, that make us just really feel low energy and almost like burnt out feeling. And that happens because of the processed, sugary, quick, made in a plant, not coming from a plant types of foods. So this means that the type of foods that you want to be eating to give you that high sustained energy, where you feel alert, where you feel vibrant, where you feel the sense of vitality in life and energy, is to eat whole and well-balanced meals and to eat whole foods. The reason why you want to eat whole foods and well-balanced meals is because whole foods contain all of the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients that your body and your brain needs to really be able to function most optimally. And the thing about the brain is it is 60% fat, but what it uses for its fuel is carbohydrates. But it wants the long-lasting carbohydrates. So that's whole grains, that's fruits, that's vegetables, that's dark leafy greens. It's the things that will slowly release insulin into the body so that you maintain this level of higher energy, because it is a slow releasing food. So you will find everything that your body and your brain needs to thrive and for your cells to develop optimally and for your brain to be clear, based on what you eat. So here's a few suggestions of the types of foods that you want to have every day, if possible, if not every single week. So when you're starting your morning, something, if you want a lot of energy, a good thing is to have oatmeal. It's a really fibrous carbohydrate, whole grain carb, that will be longer sustaining. But I always find I combined my oatmeal with a protein, because protein is also an energy booster. And so I will often serve oatmeal with some berries and some bananas, which are also brain boosters, and then with a shake, which will have my greens in it, also brain booster, energy booster, but then also having perhaps some yogurt in there, a protein powder if you have it, some nut butter in there, some bananas in there, blend it all up, and then you'll have your protein with your carbs. Amazing meal to start the day with. That's actually what Ella had this morning for breakfast. She had her shake. She wakes up, one of the first things she says as she opens her eyes, "Mommy, can I have a peanut butter and oatmeal shake, please?" Love to make you a peanut butter and oatmeal shake. So that's what I made her this morning, and it was delicious. So that's something to like start your day with or have in the midday if you're wanting a boost. Also, I really recommend dark leafy vegetables. They are the ones that carry the most like phytonutrients, antioxidants, iron, lots of iron, which is really important, especially as a female, especially if we're on our menstrual cycle. We need a lot more iron to keep our energy levels high and stable. And you'll also find in dark leafy greens, they have lots of amino acids, which is a protein molecule that's broken down into its smallest particle, which is an amino acid, and that's how our body takes in the protein. But it's also called lecine, leucine, I think that's how you pronounce it, and that is an energy producing amino acid. So you definitely want to get dark leafy greens in. As I've already mentioned, you can throw them into your shake if you want, but also just having like a big salad with your meal. You guys know, like, I'm a big fan of saying eat salads with your meal. Make sure half of your plate has vegetables, because that's where you're going to get your energy from, is your fruits and your vegetables. Think about fruits and vegetables the way that they grow. They need soil, they need water, they need sunlight. And what they do is they reach towards the sunlight because they're reaching for the life, they're reaching for the light. And that's very, very symbolic for us as souls. We're reaching for the light, we're reaching for the life. Like that is what we are, that is what we want. So it only makes sense that we would eat alive and life-giving foods if we want to have more life and vitality and energy inside our body and inside our molecular structure and inside of our brain. Like it just makes sense. So these things are really important. Also, another brain food for energy is salmon. We actually had salmon yesterday. I put a post about it in our group. If you want to check it out, I have the recipe below the picture. Salmon is really high in omega-3s, and your brain needs omega-3s and omega-6s in order for it to function properly and optimally, because as I said at the beginning, your brain is 60% fat, and so it needs good quality fats. So that's omega-3s, omega-6s, coconut oil, olive oil, some good high quality organic butter or ghee. Stay away from margarines, stay away from vegetable oil, stay away from canola oil. They are literally toxic, and they will rot your gut, which will then link to the brain, which means there's just whole kinds of problems. So stay away from the bad oils, stick to the good oils, and you'll find omega-3s and 6s in salmon in almost like equal parts, which is what you want. Some other foods that are really good energy boosting foods are things like chickpeas or lentils. And I find that actually, Bern, you were saying here the other day how you soaked your white beans and you're just like popping them like candy because they're so delicious. They are so delicious. So also this is something that's really budget friendly. If you are on a budget with food, you can buy a big bag of dried chickpeas or a big bag of dried lentils or beans. And I would search this group because I have a blog in here that tells you how to soak them, how to rinse them, how to cook them, how to sprout them if you want. And what that also does is it helps to increase the fiber. It helps take out the gases that may cause lots of like toots and tummy issues, bloating. And it's budget friendly. So if you get like a big bag of chickpeas, you can pay $4 maybe for a big bag, and you will have many, many, many meals out of that. So if you soak and you sprout is optional, but then cook them, then you can make hummus. You can throw them in salads. You can just roast them and eat them roasted with even cinnamon and sugar on it for like a dessert. You can just eat them on their own, pop them in your mouth. You can add them to soups. You can add them to stews. It's endless when it comes to what you can do with especially chickpeas as well as lentils and beans. It's unbelievable. So that is a really good way to keep your nutrition high, to keep your energy high, and to keep your budget low. So that's something I definitely recommend. You will also get added zinc and folate and malonase and magnesium. I don't know if magnesium is in there, but iron is for sure in there. And these are all really, really important nutrients for high energy. Lastly, anything that has vitamin C, like I take an AA supplement, which is like ascorbic acid, and I make sure I put that in all our shakes just to add the boosting of the vitamin C, which our body doesn't really produce, and so we need to get it in food, just like omega-3, we need to get it in food. So anything with vitamin C, so you've got your oranges in any of your fruit, your apples and your bananas and your kiwi. Kiwi is extremely high in vitamin C. All of these things not only will boost your energy, but they'll boost your immunity. And making sure that you stick with whole grains where you can, actually all the time, because there's really no point in having white bread. It turns to sugar in your body, and it does the rise and fall that I was talking about earlier, and it doesn't sustain you. It doesn't have anything that it gives the body. It literally just takes away. It strips away. It's bleached, right? So it doesn't give your body anything. And we're always about nourishing, about giving the body something. So stick to whole grains, as I mentioned already, oats, sprouted grain bread, grains that have the seeds and the nuts in them, and you can add good oils on top, or you can add peanut butter, nut butter on top, and these are tremendous snacks as well as meals. And then if you want to have like snacks for the kids to eat, make them. Just make them. You're not going to find high energy giving foods in the processed section of the grocery store. You're just not. But you could buy a big bag of whole grain flour, and you could buy a big bag of oats. You could buy a big bag of chocolate chips. Those will always hit the sweet tooth for everybody. Grab applesauce, grab your staples of like baking soda powder, that sort of thing. And you can make cookies, you can make muffins, you can make scones, you can make whatever, get creative. Use your frozen berries in your freezer and make wild blueberry muffins. Like, there's so many things that you can do if you take the time to make them. If you need help with making things in your kitchen and actually putting all these whole foods together, I have a Kitchen Alchemy course to help you, just saying. But these are my tips that are profoundly helpful. And I just want to give, other than the food suggestions, I also want to make mention 2 more things that will help you to have high energy. Number 1 is to set an intention with your food. You guys, cause, mind, effect, experience. Your thoughts create things. Your thoughts are energy. You can even hear, like, watch, what is his name? What is the guy's name? Michio, who changes the molecules of the water through the thoughts that he thinks.
I'm not sure. But I do want to say, don't drink energy drinks.
That's a great note too. Don't drink energy drinks because again, it's not going to give you anything. It only takes away from the body. High sugar. Like, if you actually took the amount of sugar that is in one of those energy drinks and put it in like a measuring cup, you would puke. Like, it's so gross. I can try and find, people have done tests like that to see, but it's like tablespoons and tablespoons and tablespoons and tablespoons of sugar that actually deteriorates your brain and your gut. And so you're not going to have this brain gut natural connection that we're meant to have. It's literally going to just start like breaking down the cell walls of the stomach, leaking stomach contents into the bloodstream, just creating lots of like neurotoxins, like really poor immunity from there, at least inflammation. Blah, just stay away. Yes, can't even handle it. But what you can do is, I was on the path of saying that your thoughts create things, then your thoughts change things. So set an intention. Even if your meal isn't the most highly nutrient dense meal, and it doesn't have all of the colors of the rainbow, and it doesn't hit all your boxes of like, you know, nutrition and high energy, make it high energy by saying, thank you that this food contains the energy that my body and brain need, and that my children's body and brain need, so that they can feel light and alert and have the energy that they need to do what they need to do today. You know, it doesn't have to be that complicated with that many words. Just thank you for this being a high energy food. And literally set your intention, bless the food, let your thoughts transfer to the meal, and let it be used with that intention. That will make a big difference. And then the second one is to stay hydrated, to really, really drink as much water as possible. I'll show you my little hack. I have this, a big mason jar of water, because that's how I roll. Everything we do is basically mason jars. And then I will always have my straw, and then I can just drink it. Cheers, babe. Tom just cheers me.
And 10 sips each time.
I was going to say that after I finished counting my 10. It's a family thing that we do, that when we pick up the water, we say, okay, 10 sips, and we count to 10 before we stop sipping. Otherwise, it's so easy to just go like sip and be done. But no, like
I'm not that good at it.
Yeah, he's not that good at it. I'm pretty good at it. But just drink as much water as possible, because that's also probably what your body's needing. A lot of the time we even are more thirsty before we are hungry. So drink, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So those are the foods that you can eat. All of them are budget friendly. And, you know, fruits and vegetables are a little bit more expensive. If you can't quite do organic, that's fine. Just make sure you wash your fruits and vegetables and berries. I generally like having a big bowl of water, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, letting it sit there, rinse and wash it off, and put it in the fridge. I also have more tips of what to do with specific vegetables that may not be the best washed beforehand in my Kitchen Alchemy course. All this stuff is in there. And set the intention, stay hydrated. Those are high fiber. Those are the main things that you want to keep in mind for high energy foods. Let me know if that resonates with you. Let me know if that speaks to you, what parts about that you're already doing, what parts about it you want to improve upon. Let's have a conversation. I love to hear from you guys. So, hey, Carrie, welcome, honey. You're saying, thanks for the suggestion for blessing the food for high energy. Yes, you are so welcome. It is... it's a big part of our world over here that we do. Intention is everything. So I'm glad that speaks to you. It really, really helps. Even with this food, this water, like, what do I want to be drinking? I want to be drinking self-love. I want to be grateful to myself in this moment. I want to just feel the peace of God in me now. So let's have a sip. That's the thing. Everything in our life can become sacred when we use that as the intention for it and our will for it. Okay, yes, let's move right along. So the second one here, so that question was from Katrina. Thank you, Katrina, for that question. Very important question, so thank you. This one is from Nikki. Thank you, Nikki, for this one. She says, how can we stop the negative downward spiral if, like, disaster strikes? So example, disaster, like a big mess happens in the kitchen, you burnt your food, you know, you break something. Like, how can we prevent this negative spiral? Now, I've really had to learn with this and deal with this. Believe it or not, I have conditioned response of just like anger, like it'll just rah, right? It's very conditioned from my parents. I see exactly where it comes from. So I have had to really practice new habits in this arena, and it's totally different now than it used to be. So let me share what I have learned in this regard. First and foremost, this is where your mind training practice happens, in these experiences. So these experiences don't happen because you've done something wrong. These experiences happen because you need to learn something. Hooray! There's something to be learned. So there are 5 steps. I'm going to tell you what those 5 steps are that I walk myself through in these situations. And then I'll kind of give some examples from my life into these examples. So let's go through the 5. First one is breath. Like, just breathing for a minute. And I'll take you through a little bit of a breathing thing that I do. But breathing, you know, and then pausing, like, okay, pausing. Because to me, what that does is like, okay, I'm breathing, I'm pausing. It brings me into this now moment and it brings me out of my head, out of my thinking. Because the third step is knowledge that it's a mistake, but refuse to blame. If we don't breathe and we don't pause to connect with our own soul, our ego is going to tell you, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why did you have that happen? Why didn't you, whatever. It goes to blame, either blaming yourself or blaming somebody else, and you don't want to go there. It's a mistake. Mistakes have correction. You don't need to blame. The fourth one is just thinking about the one next step. So again, instead of stewing on the problem that happened, think about, okay, what is my one next step after this? And then the last one is that while you're cleaning up that last step, that you're thinking about why this might have happened in a productive manner. Like in a way that makes sense as to why this happened for you. So let me give you a couple examples. So I'm going to give a past example and then a present example. So a past example, I had a week where I had broke mason jars. I had broke 3 mason jars in 1 week. By the time it got to the third mason jar that I broke and it fell all over my floor and crashed, and now I have to clean this up when I'm in the middle of dinner, the first thoughts that came to my head were, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, not even lying. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I remember hearing those thoughts and going, whoa, I'm mean to myself. Like, would I say that to my daughter? Like, if she knocked it over, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? No. But so why am I saying it to myself? So I had to first see the script that I'm saying and be like, no, I don't want to say that. And then prepare myself next time for what I'm going to do. So what I do now, and I'll give you the example of this new kitty that we have. He's not so small anymore. He's huge now. And he will jump up on everything everywhere. And we're big water drinkers in this house. And we've had, up until this point, the habit of leaving glasses of water in the parts of the home that we use, so that when we're in that room, we always are hydrated and we see the water and we drink it. Can't do that anymore, because what started happening is he would jump up, knock the water over, and it would spill everywhere, morning, noon, and night. And it was crazy beans. And so what I've had to practice with him, and you know, since I've realized these thoughts of like, WTF is wrong with you, happen, and that I don't want to do that, and have started to like backtrack. So now when the disaster strikes, that water is everywhere, almost gets into my computer, gets all over the kitchen table and floor and everything like that, what I do is I breathe. And the first thing I do in breathing is I do the 4-7-8 breath. It's called Pranayama Breathing. The reason why this breath speaks to me the most is because prana is life energy. And so what we're wanting to do in those moments is to connect to life, connect to our wholeness, not let our ego take over. Because your ego is going to want to jump on you and tell you what the fuck is wrong with you. Let this happen. Why didn't you have a better eye? Why didn't you clean that up? Why didn't you put that away? You know better. It wants to go into tearing us down. So I breathe 4-7-8 because I'm calling upon the life energy in me. I'm calling upon God. I'm calling upon a greater power to help me. And that just happens through my breath. So let's breathe together, pranayama breathing. It's 4, inhaling for the count of 4, holding for the count of 7, exhaling for the count of 8. Watch how this shifts you. Ready? Inhaling for the count of 4, holding for the count of 7, exhaling for the count of 8. Doesn't it just shift the energy? It brings you right into your heart space. Okay? What that does is it shifts the zone. It automatically pauses you. It automatically connects you. And it automatically puts you in a position to choose differently. So now you can be like, okay, well, what's my next step? Well, my next step is to clean up the floor. Or my next step is to, because generally if I've burnt something, it's move the pot, turn it off, breathe, right? So it's not like I leave the pot on there burning. It's like you move it, good. Or you pick up the glass, good. And then you breathe. And then it's like, what is my one next step? Well, my one next step is to soak this pot. Or my one next step is to clean up that water. Or my one next step is to clean up that mess. And I'll be cleaning up that mess. But now what is going on in my head is, okay, Callie just knocked over this water glass again. I guess the side of this counter and underneath the table needs a cleaning. I guess it just needed a really good cleaning, didn't it? Right? Or it's like Ella, breaks something or makes a mess. Well, I guess she needed to have a discussion about cleaning up after herself, and we have a discussion. So I always have the focus be on, what did I learn here? What can I do differently next time? And why has this happened? So instead of being in my mind, beating myself up, going down that negative spiral, I'm focusing on the solution. and not the problem. I'm focusing on the solution, and I'm working on that solution in the moment, and I'm continuing to think about that solution as I'm working on the solution, and I'm working on how it is that I can prevent it next time. Right? So that is why something like making a mess in the kitchen or burning food is the most perfect opportunity for mind training. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. It's not to beat up on ourselves. It's not to take the downward spiral and take the bait of the ego. It is to stop ourselves before the downward spiral and choose again. Remember, we have the voice of the spirit. We have the voice of our soul within us that we can listen to instead of the ego. The ego will always be the downward spiral. The soul will always choose the solution. Always choose the solution. And then what happens when you choose the solution? You feel at peace. You feel connected. You feel grateful. You feel like, okay, I guess we didn't need that rice today, did we? You know, what else are we going to have? Okay, let me throw on some potatoes and boil them in this pot. You know, like there's it's a way of problem solving. It is a way of deciding for what you really want. And it's a way for training your mind. So we're not going to get around having disasters happen in our life. We're just not. But we can respond differently to disasters. And that's our goal. And so be gentle with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, be patient with yourself. You're learning. Your kids are watching and learning with you as you learn. And so it's a beautiful thing that you're doing of even just being aware that you want to respond differently to disasters. So good on you for even that awareness. So let's recap on these 5 things here. The first one is to breathe, right? Obviously take the pot off the stove or pick up the cup or whatever, but breathe first. Second one is to pause and connect in that breath space, and just acknowledge the mistake. It's okay. All right. It's okay, but I'm not going to blame. The next one is then just do that next step, cleaning up that mess, cleaning up that burn. And while you're cleaning it up, to express to yourself why it might have happened, what you've learned, and what you're going to do differently next time. That's it. If you need to write these out for yourself so that you can look at them when you've forgotten or look at them when you need to, I recommend putting it up on your fridge for a while until you get into the habit of naturally calling upon your breath and naturally pausing before you take your next steps and really deciding to do it with your soul instead of ego. But this is just a process and we've all got to work through it. It's part of the human condition, but there are ways to deal with that. Carrie, I actually got on to get your cookie recipe. I'm glad I got to catch your live while I'm baking. Yay! Well, that makes me happy. Are you putting together the cookies right now? Those are amazing ones. They seem to get a lot of love from you guys. We love them. They are a family classic of ours. We've had them for years and years and years. Stopped making them for a couple months because we just ate them too much. But they're back in our life now. And just as an aside, sometimes I like putting in dried cranberries with the chocolate chips, like instead of walnuts or with walnuts, and they just add a really nice tartness to it and a nice color for the kids too. Not that, you know, whatever, you get it. They all like it. Yeah, that's a little tip too, or pecans or whatever. Sometimes I put pralines in them. That's next level too. Anyways, I can go on about it. But you guys, that is what is up for today. Let me know if these tips of what to do when disaster strikes speaks to you. I am grateful that you've joined me today, whether you got me live or whether you catch me on replay. I am going to be back here next week, 12 noon Eastern time, to be with you guys. And if you guys want to share this, which I know you guys have said that a lot with my previous videos, I will be uploading this to YouTube and I can do that. Just let me know below that you want to share it and I can give you the link and we can go about that. But that's it, you guys. I'm here for you. I love you. I support you in your health and wholeness path. And thank you for doing the small things you do each day to contribute to your wellness, because it really is blessing you and your family and the whole planet. And that's big deals and something to be grateful for. So I love you guys. Thank you for being in my community. And I will see you soon. Bye. Have a good weekend. Bye. Oh, I just see some other people. Hi, Killian. Good to see you. You just popped in. And wow, burned. I hope that's helpful. I love you guys. Good to see you. Bye.